Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Arsenal Fans Forever Women show. You're stuck with me again tonight, Dan, hosting as George is out partying again, I think, tonight. So you're stuck with me, but thankfully, I do have some fantastic guests. Making her debut on the show, her end of season debut, is Becky. How are you tonight, Becky?
I'm good, thanks.
All good, all good. Looking forward to the show, hopefully. My partner in crime up front, regular contributor to the show, Andrew. How are you?
Good evening, Gooners. Yeah, good. Weekend's here.
The weekend is here. The weekend is here. So for the show next week, sort of already talking about next week, we're going to do our end of season review show because we all wanted a sort of few weeks to get our thoughts together and decide what we was player of the season and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, next week we've got some very special guests lined up for that. So yeah, follow the channel and you can see about that. But yeah, firstly tonight, thank you for those that have sort of started joining us, and everyone's keeping an eye on the England game. Obviously England playing tonight and captained by Leah. Which we had the great news on, I think it was Monday morning, that Leah had signed the new contract. What are your thoughts just with Leah signing the new contract, Becky, and just sort of Leah's Arsenal in general, really?
It's safe to say that Lily started screaming her head off as soon as the news came through. She was ecstatic, and I was happy because Leah's her idol. Absolute massive idol of hers. She's one of the reasons why she loves football so much. She wants to work for Arsenal when she's older as a physiotherapist. You know, it's her dream. She lives and dies by Leah. So she's just so happy. And I mean, it's no surprise she stayed because she's a Gooner for life. I don't think she'd ever leave. I think if she was to leave, she would retire completely from football.
Yeah. I mean, you know, you do. She has a thing, Andrew. Like I say, I mean, she's, you know, if not the best, definitely one of the best centre backs in the world. She could go and play for any team, isn't she? So I know there's a point where, you know, obviously she has a big love for Arsenal, but there's obviously got to be a point she can see the project. She doesn't just stay, you know, because of her loyalty to Arsenal. She does obviously sort of think there's something going on. I mean, what was your thoughts with the news?
Yeah, delighted. I mean, it came out of the blue. I don't think any of us were expecting it. But I mean, just a funny, you know, follow on what you were saying then, Dan. I think there was a point where she only signed a 1-year contract prior, a couple of contracts ago, because she wanted, she wanted to make sure that that we were kind of ambitious enough for her, and which is, you know, that's amazing. And I think even in the interview, I think one of the interviews I saw, it was kind of suggested again that absolutely she's a Gooner, but equally she wants to win stuff. I think the way it's sort of like you're reading between the lines. I don't think she'd ever. I agree with Becky. I don't think she'd ever go to any of the WSL team, but you know. I think if we didn't show if she didn't have the belief in what's going on, or if we didn't show the necessary ambition, I think she would be open to going abroad. Obviously, I guess Barcelona, Lyon, maybe Bayern, maybe Wolfsburg. I don't know. Probably the former two there. So. Yeah. There's obviously the romantic in us loves the fact that she is a Gunner, and kind of like part of that is like that she's kind of, we live vicariously through her, as a captain of the Arsenal. But surprised but delighted.
Yeah, it did come out was a bit out of the blue on Monday morning with the news. It was. I think the video that they released with her family was really good. But yeah, I think, you know, for Arsenal and for England, I mean, there's no better person, her, you know, and Lotta that you've got representing the club, really. I mean, all of the sort of good values that we sort of hold dear for Arsenal, really. I mean, she sort of echoes with everything with them, really. She's so fantastic role model, isn't she, for everything. And just with all that, just her as a player, just what she adds to the team, just with, say, bringing the ball out from the back and a long sort of passes. I mean, Becky, like so, you're saying again for your daughter. I mean, so is that what got her into Arsenal in the first place with Leah?
It mainly was when they watched the Euros and they won, and then she started to think about what team to support. And like, part of my family is Tottenham. On my husband's side is West Ham and Tottenham, and then my side is Arsenal. And we kind of just took that on. And then I started to watch Arsenal when I was about 12, 13, my stepdad, and went to pubs watching it with him. And I kind of fell out of love with it for a little while. And then I fell back in love with it again. And I felt new passion within watching Arsenal. And now I've kind of got Lily a little bit obsessive. She has ADHD, so like one of the sides of it is getting really obsessed over something. And that's what she's doing at the moment. She's very obsessed. And she'll go to school telling all her teachers about it. And they're just like, yeah, okay. Because they know nothing.
No, that stays for life. I'm 45 and I'm still obsessed with them. So it's just never changes from whatever age you are. It's but yeah, I'd say Andrew, I mean, just on the playing side with Leah, I mean, what does she bring to that team? And she's fully fit and
yeah, I mean, obviously great defending. And I think with Leah, it's not necessarily the crunching tackles. She's not that kind of big, the traditional kind of centre back who with the crunching tackles and the reducers. Her positioning is immaculate, and you rarely see her making a last ditch tackle because she gets her positioning is so good. And I think Lotta's similar in that sense. I think, or Lotta's at least developing that side of the game. But I think Leah's reading the game, it's incredible. But I do think, what we possibly missed a little bit last year was those cross balls. I think Caitlin Ford, and whoever we may sign on that left wing are going to benefit from having Leah, because the crossfield ball in front of the winger. Because I think what's happened to for Caitlin and to be fair for Beth is there's been a lot of ball to feet, and then expecting them to beat them. Whereas I think Leah and to be fair, Kyra Cooney, that's a tough one to say. Kyra Cooney Cross, both got that. Will lead them. And I think that's what we need. And maybe, if we get a speedy winger, which is kind of like what's been mooted around, Leah's going to get a lot of them, the old Alex Sleb pre-assists, putting the ball in front of the wingers. So, as we said, an incredible role model. You just see so many of her interviews, and she's just so articulate, and she has views as well, and she uses her platform well. So it's hard to not see her as perfect. I'm sure that she's flawed in some way. Oh, she can play the piano.
Play the piano as well.
Yeah, good grief. Kind of, you almost dislike her. She's so good at everything, apparently.
Yeah, we're bigging her up, so she's going to have an outstanding game for England tonight as well. Obviously, she's going to score tonight. We'll go with that. So if you're watching this show tomorrow, we predicted it 20 minutes before the kickoff that she's going to score against France tonight. But yeah, it is everything that she does off. I think we are very lucky as a football club to have her and Lotta at the back, the two sort of homegrown Arsenal girls in the heart of that defence. And obviously she's vice captain, and maybe at some point, well, Kim's obviously never going to retire, but she might be at some point. Maybe if we're resting Kim's, but yeah, it is just everything she brings, bringing the ball, and I think a bit like you say, Andrew, she's not necessarily intimidating with a physical presence, but I think she intimidates opposition forwards just with who she is being there. That they come and go, crikey, we're up against Leah. We know she's going to be fast and getting the ball and interception. So she's that kind of player, and so we're very lucky to have it, as we are with with a member having Bukayo Saka. We sort of having these guys representing our club is fantastic. Is it? But and I know we sort of had this conversation a little bit earlier in the week in the WhatsApp group. I mean, with Leah committing Becky, do you think this is maybe now it's a bit of a thing that we need to fully get behind and support the team now? It is that thing that she's obviously sees the bigger picture that, Jonas, like we said, she could quite easily go and play for another team. She wants to stay at this club. She wants to play for Jonas. There's the time to get behind the team, sort of move on from the Viv situation and start again in September for the new season.
I think obviously losing Viv will be massively devastating for the team, but I think with the new fresh blood coming in as well, I think we may even have a chance next season, I think. And if we can get Jonas to really consider his options better by putting Blackstenius more in, because she's a brilliant goal scorer for our team. Same with Beth and Alicia. And I think, this season we could have a chance. Well, next season anyway.
Yeah, definitely. Well, your thoughts on that? I know, Andrew, knows you that's obviously brought it up in our WhatsApp group about getting behind the team more now.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, just at the root of it, Jonas, he said himself, on the face of this, but this was not a Jonas decision. I'm sure Edu didn't open up the internet on that morning and say, "Oh my gosh, we sold Viv. I didn't know that." And Claire Wheatley would have, that's a group decision, and they've got all, there's obviously, I'm sure there was a lot of conversations, but that's, that was an Arsenal decision. No one person is going to make that call. Obviously, I imagine that Jonas's view probably carries more weight than Edu's and Claire's and whoever's, or maybe even physios do as well. But yeah, I think there comes a point, and it is an emotive and emotional issue, and it was just interesting. We saw some of the. I was drawing parallels actually with, similar but not the same, but with Aubameyang in the men's team and sort of Mikel Arteta having to sell him. And there was, Mikel Arteta had to make some tough decisions. Mesut Ozil went as well, and there was, and that was, great players. Let's, but they didn't fit what he wanted, and obviously, as I say, I'll underline that similar but not the same situation. But yeah, I think we're going to have a bit of discontent for a couple of weeks. But I think by the time the new season comes around, we're going to have possibly Mariona, possibly another a winger, and we definitely need a goalkeeper. I know Van Domselaar is heavily touted and has been sort of it wasn't that coy in her response when asked about it in an interview. So I think once we get that one, and I think first goal, first win, and we forget about kind of what's gone before, and we start focusing on next season, on the I don't know when does it become next season? When is it this season?
Yeah,
I'm with you, Becky. I get a bit confused. Yeah. Are we still this season, or are we?
I think we're still this season.
Okay, so next season.
Next season.
I agree, Becky. I've said it before. We're going to win the WSL next year. Next season.
Not the treble, just the WSL now.
Yeah. Do you know what? Well, do you know what? You'd be delighted, wouldn't you, if that was all we did? If that was all we did, I suppose I'd like I guess getting out of the group stage of the Champions League. That would be that. I think that would be a key performance indicator for the year. But obviously last year, this season, we couldn't even get past Paris FC, but that's perhaps for next week.
I think as you say, it's for the review show for next week, but I think it is, and Tim made a great point for it on his show about that. This is the knock-on effect that did have at the start of the season, going out the Champions League, and with everyone coming back from the World Cup and a short sort of pre-season. I think that just had a sort of massive knock-on. So we are fully supportive of the team, but obviously we know when we get to that Champions League group stages and the first couple of games that we've got to hit the ground running straight away. We know that, and I think, I mean, Becky, do you think it was maybe just with Viv, with the Viv leaving it situation? It was just because maybe it was the first time for the modern fan base that they'd experienced a player of that caliber leaving. Like when Jordan left, it seemed it was a bit of a natural ending, and she obviously wasn't playing much, and she sort of, her time had come to an end, and obviously with a few other players, but she had been the biggest player that had left maybe over the last 5-6 years, do you think? And that was maybe why.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think people were so shocked with it because we had no idea it was going to happen. You know, yes, there was rumours, but we didn't think she was actually going to go.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people were devastated by it, and I literally cried.
Yeah, I think obviously we was speculating on here, Andrew, wasn't we? And I think, you know, we all sort of thought, we wanted Stina to stay, and that's what we got. And again, it was that thing of, it was just the you know, getting used to the shock. And I think we're going to probably, over the next few seasons, a few other players that we're, you know, grown to love and we love that are going to be going as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, she probably is the biggest in that sense, the biggest, certainly the biggest player that we've let go in their prime. I mean, maybe we could look in the past and we had to have some forcible moves, and it's funny when you're going through sort of like all the other team, often the other teams, their star players, often you say, oh, and they played for Arsenal. You look at Chloe Kelly, you look at Steph Horton, you know, there's so many players that have gone through our ranks, but you know, and for me, Viv is probably the biggest at the time. But yeah, it was kind of funny. We kind of almost, I don't know whether we jinxed it, because we had that on that panel show, and it was like Viv or Stina, and I think we actually we wanted Stina to stay more than Viv. In that one, and it was 3 or 4 years ago that would be unthinkable. I mean, obviously we didn't know really who Stina was, but you know, but yeah, I guess, and it's one of those, it's like only this time next year will we know whether that was a stroke of genius or an absolute blunder. And I guess, but equally, I hope she goes abroad. I don't want her to go to Man City. I hope she goes abroad and that we don't see her ever.
I was going for Villa. Villa would be a good move with Jordan and a few networks. So
our retirement home.
Retirement home, and she obviously Villa would love to sign, and she'd be great for Villa. But
perhaps I don't know. Perhaps too good, and maybe it's about. I think with Man City, maybe they can manage her recovery. Her recovery.
No, definitely. It's but yeah, it was that shock of just, like I say, it's like you say, it's probably the biggest name player we've had go. You know, when we let Chloe Kelly go and Lauren James go, they weren't established stars, or they were just sort of up and coming under the sort of potential. So yeah, it's a sort of big name. It's potentially one of the biggest names we've necessarily ever let go for the women's team.
Yeah.
It was, but it's but yeah, we obviously wish Viv well, but now we are. But obviously, since the news, we've had you know, so obviously Leah signed a contract, Stina signed a contract. We're looking at hopefully maybe next week or a couple of weeks, Laura's potentially signed a new contract as well. We've now moved to the Emirates full time, and we was talking, or Andrew, you talked a little bit about potential signings. Which seems that I'm trying to pronounce the name, Gudeta, am I right? I'm saying that right? From Barcelona, which sort of seems as if that's going to go ahead. I think sort of Barcelona seem like they've announced it, and I know Cordina sort of mentioned just the Spanish press. She'd be really keen for her to come and join. Do you know anything about her, Andrew? You sort of been on YouTube looking at her best bits and skills and nutmegs.
I've been listening to Daisy. And if Daisy says she's good, she's good. Yeah, apparently, you know, I think she's likely to be that new number 10, and that's great, because I think we've had that. The 10's been bit by committee last year, and I think we got a little bit, maybe overthought things a bit. But I think that's the thing we know about Jonas. It always seems to be that he really knows what he wants, and he's when it comes, and he's very specific. And it seems like that she's Mariona. I think is
Mariona
is what it goes on her shirt. I think it's although she's got a surname, she uses her first name. But yeah, looks like she's a tricky, quite aggressive, high on assists, but has a high on the goals as well. So I think that's perhaps what we've been lacking from our 10 since Viv's injury. So, but equally, I think she's quite. I find she's played on the left as well. But it would seem that she's going to be our 10, and probably, until we settle it, probably is going to be our starter as well, which is very exciting, very exciting. And I suppose for me, it's just the fact that we're going to have a settled number 10. Fingers crossed on that one at least.
Yeah. I mean, Becky, do you know much about Mariona? I mean, do you feel that for me, looking at signing another player who's 28 when we've got Caitlin who's sort of 29, 30, best around that age, I think we should maybe be looking at slightly younger players around the sort of like when Vicky came in, she was like 23, 24. Do you think we should maybe be trying to shop in that age bracket a little bit more instead of...
Well, I don't know anything about it, but I think if she's got a good track record, bring her on for at least a season. See what she's got. I think we should give anyone a chance.
Yeah. No, definitely. So, I mean, I sort of was half watching the Champions League final, but sort of looking at her YouTube skills and so quite a few nutmegs she seems to like. She seems good for in there. And yeah, like you say, Andrew, it is something that we do need, is that sort of settled number 10 or number 8, I suppose, shirt she take number-wise. But yeah, just someone who can play in there. I mean, like Becky, it's probably a bit more of a question for next week's show, but what else do you think Arsenal would be looking for signings-wise? Do you think else, if he's looking for areas for improvement?
We definitely need a new goalie.
Definitely.
Especially if Manuela decides to take a break, because obviously she's going to be having her baby soon. So I can expect her to take some time out, at least a few weeks, to compliment to getting used to having a baby around, and supporting her wife. So, and I mean, I'd love to see Mary Earp sign for Arsenal. I really would, but I don't know if that's going to happen for sure. But I do think Daphne's going to come.
Yeah. I think,
What do you say?
and Onsala, we say.
However you pronounce it.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult for George to think of a song for that name. I think the stuff that rhymes with that. So.
And I'm excited for the next season to see how our new, fresh, young blood's going to cope with our team.
Yeah.
I do think they've got some potential for good greatness.
We need Jones out.
Don't like Jonas anymore.
Yeah, I do like.
We're supporting the team. We're supporting Jonas. We're getting fully behind him, and we're going for it for next
I think
season.
you just got to trust the process. So that's what I'm going to do next season. Trust the process. Hope for the best.
Yeah. Well, but for you, Andrew, I mean, there's obviously hopefully the first signing maybe next week to announce. I mean, what else do you think?
I mean, just on the age thing, I wonder if we've got, you talked about the youngsters coming through, Becky, and I think we've got some incredibly exciting ones, and they're probably not ready just yet. But maybe in a couple of years' time, obviously, I think it'll be interesting to see who goes out on loan, who stays. Maybe I suppose there's got almost 3 stages. Someone might go out on loan straight away. What division? Crystal Palace have come up. I imagine we've already. I imagine the phone line is burning between Crystal Palace and Arsenal now. Whether we keep some for the group stages, of the Champions League, before January as well. Maybe give some a shout, because obviously, yeah, we've got Amanda who's away on maternity. Is that a chance for Katie Reid to get some time? Because I think it was interesting how well she did compared to perhaps Taya, and obviously Taya's still recovering from a second ACL, but Katie's been really impressive. And whether we think it's worth sort of having Katie as our fourth centre back with until Amanda comes back. So but yeah, maybe in 2 or 3 years time, like you say, you've got Kim, who's never going to retire, Caitlin, you're even looking at sort of Chloe, and there's quite a few in that kind of older age bracket. Maybe in 2 or 3 years time they're looking to retire, but then that maybe that's where the kind of the succession is, and that's why we're kind of quite comfortable going for these older established players. And equally, when you start getting established players, I think that's when you're saying we want to win now. We're not investing in youth, we're not investing in 2 or 3 seasons, we want to win now. And that's what kind of brings you the best players. This, when you've had a good Champions League run or won it, or you're the WSL champions. So exciting times, and yeah, it's a great problem to have, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think like you said, I think Katie Reid's worth keeping long term, obviously, but definitely keeping till sort of January transfer window, because with Amanda, I mean, we maybe probably not expecting too much of Amanda for next season. Obviously, Steph can play at the back. I think with our first choice front three, our first choice three at the back, Lotta, Leah and Cordina, I think there's not many teams that have that much quality in central defence. I think we're very lucky, and probably even just hopefully they all stay fit, keeping them all happy and playing. So I think for Katie to come and learn from them, be training with them every day is going to do her the world of good. Get a few games in, not the early stages of Conti Cup, because we won't be in it because we're in the Champions League, but hopefully get a little bit of experience in some games. Is worthwhile. But I mean, Becky, just start a little bit. Say with the squad, do you think maybe the squad is too big, and we do maybe need to sort of sell a few players, put a few more players out on loan? That there's maybe too many options in the squad, and maybe a slightly smaller squad might be better for us. Give more game time to everybody.
I think the squad's okay as it is. I think we could use our most talented players up front, and then using our new youth members coming on as subs and trying to get more game time. I think that would definitely work, and it allows them to gain more confidence as well.
Yeah. But for you, Andrew, do you think so? There's too many, I've been seeing, like say, midfielders, too much competition that maybe could do with losing or sort of sending out on loan a couple of players, just keep the squad a little bit smaller?
Yeah, I mean, I think Jonas is looking to have 2 players for every position, and I guess what we're missing now, assuming that what we've talked about is a second left winger. But yeah, I suppose it's Kathy Cool is the one that's kind of in a bit of a situation. Whether she's, and I'm not even sure where they see her. For me, it's for me at midfield, it's kind of it's Leah Valti and Kyra, and then at the 8 you've got Kim and Vic Palova, and then at the and then at the 10 you've got Frida and maybe Mariona. Where does Kathy play? I'm not even sure whether we do. I mean, do we see Kathy as a 6 or an 8 or a 10? I'm not sure. I mean, she's skillful.
I don't know. I mean, for Everton, I think. I mean, it's as well again. In the A-League game, she played on the right, didn't she? And maybe that was a way for her to get in the team playing sort of on the right midfield or right wing. And I think she played some games for Denmark and for Everton in the number 10 position.
Not Mary.
I definitely think good talent, and there's a player there, but obviously she needs to game. So yeah, keeping her sort of happy is obviously that's what Jonas is paid for. But yeah, I do maybe think there is one or two too many players in the squad that it's all good if we've got, hopefully keep saying that we've got Champions League games. But yeah, I think that was a bit of a problem last season when we didn't have these games and we were sort of playing just maybe once a week, that sort of rotation, and that was probably what done the squad in a little bit last season, that we was just sort of sticking with that 11, and Jonas wasn't really trying other things and giving enough minutes to other players. Was a bit of an issue, but I think definitely Katrina's worth keeping, and she could potentially be that right-sided player, just say with a different option for Beth, possibly. It's we was talking a little bit before the show as well. I know Becky, you saw it, but the Jen Beattie documentary that was on, it's on iPlayer. Obviously, Mel can watch it live, and she's watched it a few times. And it's a little thing we've been discussing. What did you call the Jen documentary? What did you think of that?
Sounds really bad, but I started watching it about 5 minutes in, and I turned it off because I fell asleep, and I haven't finished and got back to it yet. But Lily's watched it; she's really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Loved it.
yet.
That's good. So Andrew, you got to watch it. So the recommendation to watch is to watch the Jen Beattie document. I don't know if I should sort of reveal it now, because if you haven't watched it, I'll be giving you spoilers.
Nah, go for it. I mean, I'll watch it anyway. That's my evening sorted now. Once we get off this chat, so
well, after the England game, obviously.
Cat today, right?
No, I won't be watching the England game.
We're going to see, Leah's obviously get the first goal, and Alessia's going to get a hat trick. So we've plenty of goals.
We haven't got any French players.
Score.
Oh yeah, let's have one for her.
Morning, didn't you? Or earlier.
Yeah, I just stress watching our players. I just want them to have a nice summer break now. But,
we've got it on.
Especially after Caitlin got injured. Caitlin was injured earlier today.
Oh, was she?
She came off. She came on at about the 60th minute and went off on the 65th or something.
Really?
I'm assuming it was just a precaution.
Did you watch the Australian game?
But,
I turned it off.
I don't know whether it was whether it was a key game or not. I think it was, wasn't it? I think
was it a friendly when they playing?
Fair enough. Then.
Kyra, Bessie was at home, so could be wanted to watch it. They're not
on. But yeah, with I mean, so for anyone that hasn't seen it, obviously, if please, just, not on any commission for it, but do go and watch it, because it was really good, and it's sort of this is your life sort of story, really. Cool. Sort of growing up in Scotland, and starting off at Celtic and going to Arsenal, and what was quite interesting that she did say that it was at a time Man City were a professional team and they offered her a sort of full-time professional contract, and Arsenal were just deciding what players to offer full-time professional contracts to, and I think obviously they had sort of Kelly Smith and Alex Scott at the time, so they offered them players first. Jen just there was an opportunity to go there and train full-time, and she obviously went there and successful, then went to Lyon and won, but thankfully she come back, and it's definitely worth watching. So it was really good. And again, when we talk about Leah earlier, another person that's just represented our club in an absolutely fantastic way. Still a big Arsenal fan. You can sort of see when she's talking about the club how much love she had for it, and she was missed a bit last season. I think towards the end of the season, probably some of them games we could have done with her at the back.
Yeah, or up the front, actually. Don't forget Big Jen Beattie up front. It's all right, lads. Stick her up front. But but equally, I think that goes to back the point you made when she went to Man City. That goes back to the point. It's a business, and she had to make that decision. That was that's a huge business decision she had to make. And whilst you probably would have, Arsenal had to make a decision, and you offer it. you do offer it to those kind of players, but she had to, go there. But yeah, and she's such a lovely character. I think, I think she's got, she's obviously got her own podcast as well, and she comes across really well in that. Always has been quite a character in the interviews as well. So, but yeah, like you say, represented the club really well.
Yeah, 100%. So, and it's it's good. This is what our club is all about. Is having these players and sort of representing the club with pride. And obviously, Jen was lucky that she won stuff. I mean, again, just for watching a documentary, some of the fantastic goals she got when she was sort of playing on the wing or when she was playing up front is a bit of a showreel for her strikes. You sort of forget what a decent passer and decent striker of the ball she was. So it was it's really, really good. So a little bit of a short thing. I know, Becky, you sort of said your journey to the Arsenal women's team. But yeah, just my sort of thing is for you. I mean, how long have you been going? How long have you been supporting Arsenal?
I've supported Arsenal pretty much since I was about 13, 12. I'm now 34, so quite a while. Fell out of love for a bit. Then we started going to the matches this season. So we managed to get to a total to 5. Hopefully next season a little bit more.
Yeah.
Well, Lily will. I won't be able to get to all of them due to other obligations.
Yeah.
I was definitely going to try and get tickets for the first game of the season.
Because I offered them for my birthday.
Good birthday present.
There you go.
Yes. Luckily, she's in August, so good, decent present for her.
That's a good month to have your birthday in August, definitely.
Yeah.
Very good.
Come on. What are your thoughts on who might be the first team to go up against Arsenal for the new season?
Prediction. That's it. That's a good one for a prediction for the first game. I'm going to go for Villa at home on a Friday night. It will get changed to by Sky, and it'll be a Friday night game at the Emirates.
Oh, I hope not.
Oh yeah.
I hope not, because I can't go then. It's on a Friday night.
I'm going to go for with because Viv's at Villa, so they want to show that game.
Oh my God!
I'm hoping for Man U at home.
Definitely, hopefully will come
on a Saturday, hopefully.
Saturday or Sunday.
Man U. God, you like a prediction, Andrew? What do you think? First home fixture.
No, I like that show actually. I mean, Friday night. I like the idea of the Emirates at night. Under the proper floodlights rather than the candles that we have at Boreham Wood. That'd be quite exciting. But I reckon, do we dare and have Liverpool and sort of bury that ghost and just batter them?
Liverpool again, yeah. Well, I don't know. They might want to go for it, and then it ends up being Chelsea first game of the season, just because.
Lily just predicted that one. You just predicted Chelsea, didn't you?
Chelsea or Tottenham.
Chelsea or Tottenham.
Tottenham's a good shout.
Yeah.
Definitely at home, hopefully, for the first game.
Yeah. That's they'll all be for the first Sunday or something. Then maybe so if Sky get involved, it might be a Friday night game. And so I'm thinking it's got a feeling for Villa at home for whatever reason. I don't. I'm not even sure when the fixtures are released. Just to
no idea.
Isn't it June time?
Oh, it might be next couple of weeks then. Yeah, maybe they're just.
Because I was going through my emails the other day and I saw that I bought my first lot of tickets in June for Arsenal versus Liverpool.
Okay.
Fair enough, yeah.
Saved for her birthday present last year. So I'm hoping it'll come out around June time.
So maybe that sort of time. What about for you, Andrew, going back to that, what was your journey to this podcast and and Arsenal in general?
Well, do you know what? I mean, I've been an Arsenal fan since I was 6. I think George has got an embargo because I think he wants to do a fuller story.
Yeah, he wants to do we're doing the spoilers. This is just to get.
So I won't go into the reason I chose the Arsenal, being a Coventry kid, but you know what? I couldn't afford the men's games. I couldn't get into some of them. And I started going to the women's games because it was cheaper and I could stand next to, well, when I say next to Lewis, within hearing distance of Lewis, who was the North Bank back then. Him and Mel were the North Bank. And yeah, and to be fair, I actually follow the women's game more than I do the men's now. You know, you just become invested in them as individuals, as players, and you know the fact that you can go. Although having said that, you know, tickets at Boreham Wood became a tough one, but now we're back at the Emirates. It's like, you know, just knowing that you can go and you're going to get a decent seat. You know, so I'll be getting that. You know, whereas that, you know, for the men's games, it was tough. You'd only get certain games like the C games basically as a red member, and yeah, the cost. I mean, it's at least twice as much still, isn't it? Maybe even 3 times as much. So I've kind of got it priced out of it. So yeah, and now, like I say, I don't always know who's the men's got and where they are, or you know, you know, it's kind of my investment now is more in the women's game than the men's.
Yeah. No, that's good. It was it was the same for me, really. I think I was a similar sort of age when I first started with the men's team, and I used to go home and away largely through the late 90s and early 80s to watch the games, and yeah, maybe it's just sort of through work commitments and priced out. There was sort of, you know, wasn't going to Arsenal so much, but I mean, it was always. I do remember. I think probably the first women's game I went to was about '98. I seem to remember. I think it was maybe, I don't know. It must have been the cup final. Maybe it was at Wembley or something they played at Wembley. But there was a few games they played at Highbury before. I don't know, if it's a couple of testimonial games they were sort of doing. I always sort of remember maybe the end of the season where the women's team would come on with about 5 or 6 trophies that they won every single season. And for the younger viewers, you won't know what this is, but Arsenal used to release an end of season VHS, which was like a
oh my gosh, yeah.
Not a DVD even that's still, but like a download thing that was all the season highlights basically, and every video there was always about a little 2-3 minute bit on the women's team, and you had Marianne Spacey scoring from about 40 yards against Doncaster Bells, and Arsenal winning the League Cup and the FA Cup and winning the league every season. So it was always, yeah, you could sort of trace it back from that sort of period. But yeah, I think obviously the cup finals are on TV and stuff, so it'd been a while. But yeah, I think, you know, the big thing was obviously the Euros, which thankfully, you know, got the rest of the family interested. So we've sort of seen season ticket holders, and yeah, it's the interest was back in via England, but now I'm like Andrew, that my first love is always Arsenal, and it's like if they've got Arsenal players, I watch it.
Yep, same. Yep. I think my first game actually might have been a League Cup final in Scunthorpe.
Okay.
On a Wednesday, it was freezing, and it was Kelly. I just remember sort of, you know, watching Kelly Smith and just being mesmerised at how talented that woman was. You know, she was just incredible. Katie Chapman as well was an incredible player. Doesn't that often get mentioned really enough? But I remember watching that, you know, that day, and it was Kelly Smith and Katie Chapman just ran the show.
For when Mel's watching tomorrow, we've got to mention Julie Fleeting. Obviously, what a great player Julie is.
Of course, yes.
Fleeting, we're going to be in big trouble, so we've got to mention Julie Fleeting. But again, arguably maybe Arsenal's best ever natural goal scorer, Julie Fleeting. I know we sort of talk about how good Liv was, but it was just her goal scoring record is unbelievable, really. And considering she was coming down for the matches on the plane and was teaching week, it's a completely different world back then for the women's team. It really was. But yeah, it's good, and the progress now, like, you know, we've discussed from Boreham Wood, even Boreham Wood's development as a stadium to us now being at the Emirates, and like you say, Andrew, about getting tickets, and Becky, you know, you're able to take your daughter just a bit more with getting the tickets, and the whole everything with the Emirates is just going to be fantastic for next season in Block 10.
It will. I just feel gutted that men's tickets aren't affordable for everyone.
Yeah,
because I'd love to go to a men's game. That's the one thing I'd love to go and do. Go see a men play, but I think it's like £100 a pop, isn't it, or something like that.
But you just
For a
said
men's game, it's just like not everyone's going to be able to afford it.
It's very expensive. It's my son's a junior gunner as well, and so obviously we got to apply for both of us to go. And I think we had a thing where he got a ticket in the junior gunner section, but my ticket was like in the clock in or something, and I'm like, yeah, we can't
It's
go.
just
If
it's
we're
not realistic.
It's not going to work. It's
I've got to sort Lily's young gunner account out because someone wants to go for a stadium tour in the summer.
Amazing. They're fantastic.
Oh, my birthday.
But I just need to figure out how to link my account and her account.
Can you get a woman? Because I think when I went, it was Charlie George. It was one of my kind of original heroes. But
I went with Charlie George with my dad and son, and it was great. But yeah, no, I was just going to say that they should do one with Rachel Yankee or something. I think that would be sold out. That would be. I suppose it's difficult for certain players, for the women, because I suppose their history is not really at the Emirates, it's at Boreham Wood, isn't it? So all the success, maybe. I mean, if you do the tour, there's maybe not as much stuff around the stadium for the women on the actual tour, which is a thing. People that are watching could do with a few more of the women's trophies and shirts and things, and a bit more recognition around the tour.
I wonder if they did one like once. I don't know how often they were, but I wonder if they did one once. Like say, Rachel Yankee or Jen, but obviously she's in America now. They'd be amazing ambassadors. And I bet you could just move it around, change the tour a bit. That'd be. I'd probably even think about going back just for that.
That would be good. That would be good. Yeah, I think with the fan base, I mean, you'd probably get 200 on the tour each session if you was doing.
That is a true story.
With that, it would be. I mean, if it was Jen, Mel would bring everybody down. Half of Scotland would be down.
Yes.
I think if I was to do a legend tour, I think my dream legend would be Thierry Henry.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He is the one that made me fall in love with Arsenal. That would be my dream.
Thierry Henry would be good. I think.
I
would. I mean, I suppose one you could. Well, not that he would do it, but one that you could sort of do for both would be Ian Wright, because he's obviously.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely, Ian Wright.
Right.
That would be amazing.
I like him.
He's an incredible advocate for the women's game.
He is.
Yeah, that would. Yeah, right. It would be good. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who's on the tour now. I know it was either I had Lee Dixon or Charlie George, and
yeah, I do.
I think they do Nigel Winterburn and Terry Grove.
Lee Dixon would be a great one.
Who?
Terry Groves would be hilarious, I'm sure.
Yeah, Charlie was good.
Charlie was good fun.
There we go again. Say Arsenal. So if anyone is watching from the club, we need Jen. I mean, if you have a Kim Little tour, there'd be thousands.
That would be good.
All of Scotland would be down for that one, so that would be worthwhile.
Maybe we should sign a petition.
You see, we've gone a bit sidetracked here, but I think from the present. Manu would be pretty good. I think she's quite a good crowd, isn't she? She would be pretty good with
great personality. Personality.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, if it's a Legends tour, Viv could come back and do it if she's not got a club at the moment. So maybe too soon for jokes.
Too soon. Yeah, too soon. Maybe one day.
Too soon. But yeah, maybe say for Lewis, Jodie Taylor. That's. While she's at the club, but so that's possibilities there for Arsenal. Like I said, we're going to do a little bit of a shorter show tonight because we appreciate that the football is on, and as you see, we've gone a little bit sidetracked. We're so next week we do have our end of season review show, and we've got some very special guests. Which so if you follow the Twitter and follow the YouTube channels in the week, everything will be revealed. Who is coming on? Please do that. And everyone who's joining us next week has a list of about 10 questions, and they've got an essay to write this week just to make sure they're up to. They've got enough to talk about. I think it's going to be about a 6-hour show. So
excellent.
And George will be back apparently next week, hopefully. So
George, who's that? What's George?
George is the guy with the ear. We sort of
the guy. Yeah.
I know he's been moonlighting a little bit this week on some other shows, but
superstar George.
George will be back. Becky, what's the score?
0-0, and sadly, Mary Epps has come off within like 6 minutes of playing with an injury.
Oh gosh.
Yeah,
Hannah Hampton come on, or
Hampton's come on to replace.
That's decent.
We've even got a live watch as well now. See, look, we're doing a live watch for the England game as
Wow.
well. So it's just, you know, this channel and this podcast is just offering you absolutely everything.
I think Mary needs to stay fit so she can get that move.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think she's coming to us, but I don't think she's coming to us, but I think she's going to move. Just the way she was talking the other week.
She was very dismissive for United, wasn't she, about the contract situation? That seemed like that's definitely gone.
Yeah, it feels like it, doesn't it? I just wonder where, and I wonder if she's going to go abroad.
I could see Barcelona. I don't think they've sort of cemented a first choice goalkeeper. I think they're just mixing their. I think 100% sure. Potentially. Let's just say live. If you're watching this just for sound tomorrow, we don't know what we're going to be talking about, but we are going to call it a night for tonight. So that's how you can get on and do it. But thank you for everybody that's joined us. Hope so. If you everybody that's watches it back in the week, please say if you've got any comments, if you've got any questions that you want us to sort of bring to talk about for next week. Please do, and we will see you. So thank you, Becky, for joining us.
Thank you,
Andrew. Thank you as always.
Thank you. We're going to win the league.
Only hope.
So going to win the league, and we will see you all next week.